When you're a kid, getting into anime can be a lot of fun. Kid shows like Digimon, Pokemon, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Make anime seem colorful and sweet. Then, when you get older, you start getting into things like Death Note and the works of Miyazaki. Once you see No Face for the first time, you realize that anime can be terrifying. Unfortunately, it just gets scarier from there. There was a time when monsters like the Boar God from Princess Mononoke was the scariest creature you'd ever seen. Now, it doesn't seem scary at all. After watching things like Tokyo Ghoul, Attack on Titan, and Berserk, your entire concept of scary gets changed forever. Though, to be honest, that's exactly what makes them all so awesome. Here are the 10 scariest anime monsters ranked. Be warned, ye who continue to watch this video, there's plenty of nightmare fuel ahead. Ask any fan of Full Metal Alchemist or the Superior Brotherhood about the Chimera scene, and they will likely go pale. It was the first scene in the anime that really showed that the series wasn't messing around. This isn't exactly a monster that's threatening per se, but that doesn't make it any less horrifying. Early in the series, our heroes, the Elric brothers, are introduced to an alchemist named Shu Tucker. He's known for producing a special kind of chimera that was able to talk. Chimeras in the series are creatures made from combining two beings together, usually animals. Tucker's breakthrough made him quite famous in alchemist circles, but he hadn't made a breakthrough in a long time. The Elrics also bond with Tucker's daughter Nina and their cute dog Alexander. It really seems at this point like the episode will just be a lighthearted one-off. Then it takes a turn that makes it the most interesting and horrifying episode of the entire series. The brothers return to Tucker's house to discover that he's succeeded in making another chimera through alchemy. Edward, however, has figured out how Shu has been making them. He's been combining humans and animals together into one being. They then discover that his newest creation is actually Nina and Alexander combined into a terrifying abomination. The Nina chimera looks up at the brothers with its sad, sunken-in eyes and just asks, "Can we play now?" Once you see that, you're never the same. The Bleach anime started out as a much simpler show than what it inevitably became. Before the Soul Society arc changed it into all sword fights and Zanpakuto transformations, it was all about ghost hunting. Except in Bleach, they're called Hollows. Young Ichigo's initial mission was to hunt down Hollows for the depowered Rukia. The most fearsome of these early Hollows was without a doubt the Grand Fisher. Ichigo and his family visit his mother's grave to remember her. While he's there, his sisters are lured away by a creepy-looking girl. Turns out that the girl was just the bait of a particularly nasty Hollow. It doesn't take long before Ichigo takes on the Grand Fisher. Once he does, he has a flashback to his childhood. He remembers seeing a little girl about to jump into a river. When he went to save her, his mother pushed him out of the way. That's when his mother was attacked by the Grand Fisher. This leads to one of the most thrilling fights in the early days of the series. Even though Ichigo managed to take him down, the Grand Fisher remains the most terrifying monster Bleach ever created. Claymore may not be an anime everyone knows, but it's pretty awesome nonetheless. The series features silver-eyed warrior women called Claymores that fight monsters called Yoma. While Claymores are undoubtedly awesome, it's the Yoma that tend to stick out in your memory. They're creepy, shape-shifting monsters that can take over a person's life and take their memories. The first of these monsters we see attacks a young boy named Reiki. The kid's entire family was attacked by Yoma, leaving only him and his brother to live with his uncle. A Claymore named Claire is dispatched to hunt down the monster. When Reiki goes home, he finds that his uncle has been attacked as well. Turns out his brother was actually a Yoma in disguise. The terrifying monster tells Reiki that he wants to eat him before he leaves town. Then, the creature starts crying. Evidently, Reiki's brother's memories are so strong that what remains of him is weeping. The Yoma finds this experience delightful. Luckily, Claire drops in to save Reiki from his fate. She takes the Yoma out in a particularly awesome fashion. Though this is just a first course of many horrifying courses to come from the demonic creatures. There was a time where the thought of Netflix releasing anime on their streaming site was ridiculous. Those were the days before great anime like Devilman Crybaby and Castlevania. The first anime to break through on the streaming giant was none other than Knights of Cydonia. Adapted from the popular manga, Cydonia revolves around a group of human refugees who have been driven from the planet Earth. The planet has been ravaged by monsters called guana. These creatures are so fierce that all that remains of our race flee through the galaxy on spaceships like the Cydonia. It's sort of like Battlestar Galactica if the Cylons were giant monsters pulled straight from your nightmares. The guana are made up of two different parts, their outer body, known as their placenta, and their inner body. If this core isn't destroyed, their outer body will just continually regenerate. This makes them the most terrifying creatures in all of the universe. You know that's saying something when the humans fight with giant mech suits and aren't even close to being as formidable. Their ability to shapeshift also means that they frequently take on terrifying forms. They're able to become anything from giant tentacle monsters to strange human hybrid creatures. If that's what aliens are really like, maybe we should just go ahead and close NASA down before we make them mad. Few anime make quite the instant impact that Attack on Titan did. It went from zero to full cultural phenomenon in no time. The main reason for that is the terrifying creatures that the series is named for. Zombie apocalypse stories are all the rage right now. They tell the story of a group of humanity's last survivors trying to fight off undead forces that want to consume them. It seems like that's a hard concept to top. Attack on Titan definitely means to give it a run for its money. The series features a similar premise. Human society has been pushed inside giant protective walls to keep them from the monstrous titans. These creatures basically look like giant naked humans. The series features dozens of sequences where they pick up innocent people and eat them in a very bloody fashion. In fact, the only way to stop them is with these complex maneuvering belts that allow warriors to fly through the air like Spider-Man. They have to cut through the nape of a titan's neck in order to get rid of it. That's much easier said than done. Most that try end up as a titan snack. If that's not bad enough, there are special titans that possess more intelligence and have special powers. The colossal titan is more than twice the size of a normal titan with a creepy, skinless look. There's also an armored titan, a female titan, a beast titan, and more. They may be more formidable, but it's still the regular titans that scare the most. The titans' naked human features and inhuman expressions are truly disturbing. Watching them eat humans into extinction is like watching the personification of our own destructive hunger. That sort of disturbing content sticks with you a lot longer than a cool titan fight. If you just looked at a picture of the rabbits from Blood Sea, you probably wouldn't be terrified. They basically just look like cute-looking Digimon, only they do things that no Digimon would ever do. This anime follows a very familiar premise. A young girl named Saya must protect her small town from evil monsters called Elder Bairns. Judging from this list and the Godzilla movies, evidently Japan is just riddled with monsters. The last of these Elder Bairns are big bunny creatures. They make their way through the town, viciously consuming every single person. It's a pretty disturbing display of brutality. The scene is very reminiscent of one of the Titan attack scenes from Attack on Titan, except unlike the mindless Titans, the bunnies take joy out of their bloody human meal. They make each and every attack as painful as possible. If the Titans represent humanity's endless hunger, the rabbits represent the sadistic side to that same hunger. Either that, or they show definitely that bunnies are secretly evil and are just waiting for their moment to eat us all. Parasite is an anime that makes the ultimate case for wearing earbuds to bed. Shinichi Izumi is a school kid who was luckily wearing his one night. When an alien parasite tried to crawl into his brain through his ears, it couldn't quite make it. So the creature destroyed his hand and shapeshifted into it. Now, Izumi has a hand that is secretly a shapeshifting alien monster that helps him fight others like it. That may seem like a silly concept, but Parasite takes it to some terrifying places. It's basically a more intense take on Invasion of the Body Snatchers, only with less Jeff Goldblum. The culmination of all this terror comes from the moment where Izumi is confronted with the fact that his mother has been taken over. Instead of her hand, though, it's her entire head that's now a parasite. He learns this by watching her entire head deform and reform into a blade, stabbing him through the chest. Talk about mother issues, right? Berserk is one of the most legendary anime of all time. It's known for the brutal fight scenes that perfectly showcase how the protagonist, Guts, is the baddest of the bad. He's the kind of guy who walks into a battle with 100 men and is the only one walking out. Imagine if Jon Snow was tough enough to win the Battle of the Bastards all by himself. That's how awesome Guts is. The other thing Berserk is known for is the terrifying force known as the God Hand. The archdemons from an alternate dimension tempt Guts' buddy Griffith into betraying him and their friends. He becomes one of them, and as the monsters brutally consume all of his former allies, it's one of the most brutal mass eliminations in all of anime history. The God Hand are all terrifying creatures designed to look like the personification of evil itself. They range from the sexy seductress Slan, the evil smiley face Ubik, and the Mars attacks-looking Void. There are a lot of demons and evil groups in the anime world, but none are quite as terrifying as the God Hand. Anime are known for some of the greatest romances ever written. The start of Tokyo Ghoul makes it seem like it'll be one of these as well. Ken meets up on a sweet date with a cute girl. Things seem like they're going pretty well until the date takes a pretty vicious turn. The girl embraces Ken and tells him how much she likes him, and then, right when it seems like they might kiss, she takes a big bite out of his neck. She reveals herself as a ghoul. In this show, ghouls are human-looking creatures that can only survive by eating humans. These monsters have superior strength and other creepy abilities that make them extremely hard to destroy. They're kind of like an even scarier version of vampires. Like vampires, they represent the secret evil that could be hiding behind every sweet face. Try not to think about that the next time you go on a blind date. Some anime films stick with you your entire life. You'll always remember the first time that you watch Akira or the original Ghost in the Shell. Both films present fascinating and colorful worlds that will likely spark your creativity. The films of Yoshiaki Kawajira will likely be memorable for completely different reasons. Mostly, they'll just disturb you to your very core. Wicked City is a film that's sort of like Blade Runner, except instead of terrifying robots, it has even more terrifying demons. In that movie, there's a dimension known as the Black World that is connected to Earth. The dimension is populated by otherworldly demons. Between the two worlds, there is a very shaky peace. A secret organization known as the Black Guard is tasked with keeping this peace. Taki, an agent for the Guard, is tasked with protecting an important diplomat who's being attacked by radicals who hate the treaty. He is assigned a partner from the Black World who is a fashion model named Maki. That sounds pretty straightforward, right? The thing about Wicked City is that it really drives into the whole wicked thing. The demons from the Black World are much more sinister than most monsters. The first of these that we see is a pretty girl that Taki goes on a date with, only she turns into a spider monster in the middle of an adult activity. That's how the movie starts. From there, we're introduced to tentacle monsters, more seductive creatures, and things you can never unsee. This is not a movie for the faint of heart. These monsters are taken farther down the horrifying rabbit hole than most. While the others on this list will likely just eat you, the ones in Wicked City aren't so merciful. They represent the darker side of what humans are capable of and how the rest of us have to make an unsteady peace with them. It's a grim reminder that while there may not be titans and alien parasites in our world, we still have monsters of our own. If you watch this movie, it's probably a good idea to have something nice and cheery waiting for you after. Kiki's delivery service is pretty nice. It doesn't have monsters that will disturb you to your core either. That's more than I can say for the rest of the anime on this list. Well, there are the scariest anime monsters ever. Sorry for the nightmares. Are there any scarier ones we missed? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more from The Binger.